We are on day 75. Can you believe it? I'm just going to double check that Facebook is right way up. Molly. 75 days of practice. And ideally, always remember, always go back. How do I measure if a practice is successful for me? It isn't do I like it. It isn't even necessarily do I do it. But as I'm doing it, it's having an effect. And I know it's having an effect because of 3 things. Quicker to joy. There's more joy. There's less fear. And there's a shorter distance between the having of an idea and the idea becoming real. It can be as simple as I'm going to wash my car, and then the car is washed. But I know that there were times in my life where I would think, I'm going to wash my car, and it would be 5-7 months before I managed to get that to happen. And instead to begin to live a life where we say, you know what, I would like to see this happen. And then it does. And it happens with ease and it happens with grace. This is the sign of a really great practice. And part of that is that you're creating pathways. We're showing up for ourselves again and again. We're seeing things through, as simple as just keeping a movement sustained over time is creating a pathway between I will do something and I do something. And that can become really quite a priceless lever in your world, so that the things that we think of, we don't just think of them, they become possible. And one other thing is the way in which we think about what it is we're setting out to do. So from the Dharma talk, we were talking about how we can get blocked. 2 weeks ago, we talked about trying to stay open. That when we have an experience that we don't like, we back off and we close. And yet we have this access to infinite energy when we're open. And so if we use the practice to challenge ourselves and to come up against things that we may or may not like and may or may not want, we stay open to all of it, little at a time. We find there's more and more there. We begin to translate that challenge into light. We begin to soak in the light of the challenge. So many things that we were reluctant to do. Look at that. There's challenge in there. And if there's reluctance and if there's challenge, then I know there's light in there. And when I go through that, I will absorb so much more. This is really our beginning, our entrance to infinite energy and the possibility. So much of that exists in the space around the heart. So much of the energy of the heart is either open or closed. And so as you practice today, really think about strengthening your natural capacity for this quality of light. Strengthen your natural capacity to stay with challenge, to feel its intensity, to feel the intensity turn to light, and the light becomes something that both guides and holds and carries you. So we go. Finding a cross-legged seat or sitting on your chair. So yesterday I modified lots, and today you may use those modifications, but I will not, right? So always finding the practice that works best for you on any given day. Rubbing your palms, heart high, chin lightly in, get it going, light that fire. And settle, hands still, eyes closed, feel the change in your hands. Ong Namo, I bow to everything outside of me, guiding me, healing me, holding me. Guru Dev Namo, I bow to everything inside of me, everything rising to meet it all. 3 times with me, inhale. Ong Namo Gurudev Namo. Ong Namo Gurudev Namo. Ong Namo Gurudev Namo. Roll your shoulders, roll your wrists, shake it out. Start your playlist, May 2020 playlist at Ad Bure Name. Anytime you need to. The playlist is posted on my website. It's coming off of Spotify, and if Spotify is not the music player that you prefer, then just look at the list on Spotify. You don't have to pay for that at all. And then rebuild it in whatever player you like. So tuck your chin, drop your head, wag your tail. And allow the crown of your head to become very, very heavy. Press the heels of your hands down the base of your thumbs. Spread the back body wide, and then drop. The heart comes forward, and then exhale around. And begin to move there. Closing your eyes, settling in. The more familiar you are with this practice of this month, don't you just keep your eyes closed, move one thing to another, and see how much coherence you can begin to build. Turn your left thumb forward, turn your left fingers to the left, so that your fingers are perpendicular to one another. Trying to draw your hands apart will open the upper back. And then turning your left fingers back, your middle finger points to the middle of your thigh, and your right fingertips point forward. Inhale, open, exhale, down. Right through the left palm, the wrist, the elbow, the shoulder, the side of the jaw. 3, 2. And turn your left fingertips forward. Good, good. Keep it up. Right thumb turns forward, right fingers turn right. We move. Turn your right finger right one more time, so your right thumb turns to the right, and your fingertips point back towards your right knee. And the wrist is pointing forward. Your elbow is pointing forward. And get all the way into the right side of your neck, right side of your jaw. For 3, for 2, and for 1. Turn your fingertips forward, sit your hips to your heels, and let it become very long. Drum your fingers, open and close your fists, and rise up onto your knees. Good, good. Tuck your toes under. As you turn your toes to the left, your hips face the right side of your mat. Step your left foot to the center line. And begin to deeply bend your left knee. Right toes are tucked under behind you. And you're pressing lightly into the floor with both feet. Left knee goes left towards your pinky toe. Right hip comes forward towards the edge of your mat. Just starting to open the whole front plane of your pelvis. Right hand up overhead, elbow to thigh, and then bring your elbow down. all the way up as though you could reach out of your kneecap to your fingertips. And then keeping your right arm beside your ear, stay steady and a little forward and back. The left kneecap and the right hip. Good. And then changing sides. Put the right toes to point towards the right end, the far end of your mat. Left toes tucked under. As you come up, send your left hip towards the right side of your mat. As you bend your knee, take your knee towards your little toe so that the crease begins to deepen all the way into the back of the hip. Reaching over. Bend the elbow. Reaching over. Through the ribs. Again, that reach from the left kneecap into your left fingertips. And then staying elbow on thigh, little at a time. Kneecap forward, hip back. Left hand to the mat, right hand follows, downward facing dog, hips up, press back. Arms are long, chest is long now. Back body is long now, press. And the right foot steps up and your toes turn off the mat, left knee down, putting a block or two under your left hand, find a big circle. So it's as though you were doing a backstroke and you're going to allow your front knee to bend and to straighten so that you can explore all the way through from the feet to the fingertips. And then right hand beside your right ear, stay. Press your left toes down behind you. Your hips come a little forward. Left hand down onto the block, wrap your right rib over to the right. And then bend your right knee a little more, a little more. The heart opens. The hips soften. And you change sides. Right hand down. Step back, downward facing dog. Right hand, right hip, right heel. Steady. The left foot steps up outside of the left hand. Your right knee on the floor, your right hand on the block. And begin to circle the left hand. And with that circle, you can allow your hips to come forward and back, all the way through the body. And after one more full circle, bending the left knee, left arm is beside the left ear, right toes down into the floor, right hip forward, pelvis forward, right hand down, turn the left ribs, and bend the left knee. Bend the left knee. And then setting down. Step back, downward facing dog. Hips high, arms out and long. Thumbs down, outer shoulders wrap back. Inner thighs wrap back. Hips high, drop your head. Knees down and build your cross-legged seat. So maybe you've got your seat built on your blanket. Maybe you add a block for a little height or two blankets. Or maybe you're seated on your chair. So setting yourself up, and the idea is that your seat is right under your heart and your hands are right over your shoulders. Okay? So that if I am upright, then I can find a clockwise circle in my hands above. So if you're rounded at all and your circles are in front of you, this will become very difficult through the shoulder blades. And instead, I would ask that you would sit on a chair or even just add an extra blanket And at home, an extra towel can sometimes be a good blanket. It's nice and sturdy. So if you were seated on a clock, in front is 12, behind is 6. We're going clockwise around that circle. Close your eyes and deepen your breathing, full and smooth. Oh. So if you can activate the lower abdominal muscles so that your seat is steady and you're moving through the shoulders and the chest. Letting this sort of scrub out the inner lining of your torso and the lungs. So we're staying open, we're staying aware of the situation. That if we try to get away from it, we're closing. Anytime you need to, you shake it out, you bring it back up. So if we can be completely free of judgment, I like it, I don't like it, fast, slow, good, bad. Each of those will create a little bit of a block, a little catch in the moment that we're holding on to. And instead, if we can just stay open, finding this momentum, stay in the circle, stay in the movement and in the breath, and let the mind just stay nice and clear. Let it get a little lighter and perhaps a little quicker. We're looking to open the shoulders. If it's too much, hands overhead, you can have your hands down, finding a circle. And just keep the shoulders soft, keep the face soft, and keep the breath full and smooth. Looking to build a real clarity of experience with whatever's going on. Just meet it moment by moment. Keep letting go of what just happened and stay right in the clarity, momentum. Three, two, hands up high. Breathe in, lift your chin, 3 sips. Heart up, chin in, stay so tall. Shake out the knees, keep the breath. Up, up, up. And then chin up, elbows down to breathe out. Pause tall. Good. Let your legs out long, shake out your feet side to side and your knees up and down, rebuilding the cross of your legs. Your heels are under your knees, your seat right in the middle of your bolster or your chair. Hands up high, and a little bit of a fold, and inhale, rise up. With the fold, the navel goes to the spine like you were blowing out a candle, and then inhale, sitting up tall. And that navel to spine is what will catch you so that we can fold instead of fall. Press into the outer edges of your feet, the outer edges of your knees, and rise tall. Exhale, navel to spine. You're gathering and you're rising. Close your eyes and continue. Mm. Steady on, just 30 seconds. That as we find this steady movement, the steady movement has in it a steady breath, and the steady breath overrides some of the irregularity of our unconscious breathing. Just smooth it out, gathering to the navel, rising tall. And in this way, we find we can reset the mind, the experience, the description internally. One more. Rising and hands down. Set your blanket aside, come to a shortened dog. And rock from one side to the other. And as you rock, lift your fingers and gather them together like you were picking up a button and lift one heel. So you're just rocking a little bit side to side. Maybe you float your foot a second. And as you go to one side, the hand on the floor, press into the floor. And that pressing down is going to activate. It's going to come right from your low belly. And that low belly creates stability. And from the stability, rock forward, lift your heels, rock back, lift your fingers. So as much bend in the knees as you need to, so that when you're ready, press down into the floor. We'll lift your hips up high. Inhaling back and exhaling down. Now we can have this grace even in the most topsy-turvy of moments. And when we started the month, maybe we never even left the floor, but we're getting a little bit of a pause. One more. Oh, hands to your hips. Drop your seat, lift your heart, stand up tall. And that may be how you fold. Hips folding. Sitting, inhale up. Exhaling down. Or adding your hands down your legs and inhaling up and exhaling down and inhaling up. So if that works for you, fabulous. The full posture, a little more traditional, a little more daring through the low back. So please be careful. If this isn't the plan for your body, then bend your knees. If need be, hands on hips and let it become strong. Oh, wake yourself. Wake yourself. Rise tall one more time. Go, go, go. And stand. And we're building the muscles that run along the sides of the spine. And it's those muscles that stand us up tall. So that we don't have to have tension in the upper back to stand with a broad chest and strong legs, but that the muscles of the spine that draw us up to stand are ready and willing. So bring your hands on your hips, put a little spring in your step, a little tap. And you may stay right here the whole time. Fantastic. But as you do, I want you to have a little pop in your foot, a little spring in your step, or really spring the step as you hop. And just deepening your breathing, clearing out the system. We'll use this little hop to get some momentum, and then we'll shake it all out, and then we'll bring it back into this hop, right? We're just getting accustomed to stopping and starting so that we don't have so much inertia in our way. Just go. 3, 2, 1. Shake. And down into your heels. Out into your hands. Out into your hips and your shoulders. Down into the heels. And go. And each time that you do that, you're getting a little more of what's blocked in your system going. Because it can be in your mind, it can be in your body. So we'll shake it out again. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So stamping into the feet, stamping into the hands. Bring your hands a little bit higher. So you can absolutely have a cross looks like this, or it looks like this. Now you're calling energy higher through the body. Maybe you get a little bit of a smile on. We're going to shake it out one more time, like you were emptying out a dustbin. That everything that you had shaken in and moved through your system, you could shake it out, tap it down into the heels, stamp it out into the feet, wag the tail, get your vanity out of the way. And the last set. Makes such a difference. When you feel indecisive, shake out your body. When you feel inert, when you've been seated at your desk a long time, stand up, shake it. And then give it a little order like this. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hands on body. Hands on body. Feel it all in motion moving through you. And without trying to hold any of it, breathe with the pace of your blood. Breathe into the beat of your heart. Let it all move through you, not trying to hold on, not trying to slow down. A little bigger, a little fuller, a little more. We are unimaginably magical. Know this. And come to a seat. Legs crossed. Making fists. Your fists the height of your shoulders. You bring one over your shoulders up by your ears. You're making little circles. You close your eyes. Each one is an exhalation. X, 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 X. So just like the jumping in the feet, we're going to roll it up and out through the shoulders, through the upper body. We're rolling it all the way out. It's a great place to really feel into any old residue of frustration or even unfinished joy. My son's birthday yesterday, I felt like I was going to pop. So get that, even the joy that's unfinished, keep it going. Keep it moving. So that you can begin to have a clear, clean, direct experience of right now. You're not holding yesterday in any way. X, 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 X. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, bring it up. Add 3 sips. Go. Heart up, chin in. Stay so tall. And then releasing the chin, the hands coming down. That suddenly we can feel right now. Eyes closed. Listen to what's in the room. In the room, around you, in the building, in the room around the building, in the sky above, in the street outside. Bring it back in. We'll come to lie down on your back, straight into stretch pose. Knees to your chest. Head and shoulders lift. In and out with a ha. Keep the breath, close the mouth, out the nose, feel the belly, and then hands out long if you need to. Stay here if you're pregnant, long, smooth breathing. If you're on your cycle, long, smooth breathing. Otherwise, working your legs out as you can. If you need to, go one leg at a time. Rolling the inner feet forward, rolling the inner thighs down, drawing your shoulders towards your knees, but your hands and your face are open. Five, four, three, two, one. Knees back, head, shoulders down, pause. Drop your breath into your belly. A great posture to do if you're feeling sluggish at all is that stretch pose, rolling up and rolling back. And just spread everything through the spine. If you can't roll forward and roll back, you're just going to round and sit up tall, round and sit up tall. Crossing your ankles, hold your shins. If you choose, you may stay there or put the top of one foot at the hip, making a half lotus or a full lotus. Sit up tall and roll it back. Good, good, good. Flush the hips. Roll through the spine using your low abdomen as your means of going forward and back. So we're anchoring down into the body. Good, good, good. And rise tall. Pause, stay, eyes closed, be still. Feeling this moment suddenly direct and clear. Unfolding to hands and knees, knees wide, toes together. Let your hips settle towards your heels. Child's pose. And it's in this moment as we fold back, drop your head. How am I? What do I require? What is my pace? What is my space? Rise to hands and knees, eyes are closed, and find the circle of your hips. And then find the circles in your shoulders. And it may make sort of a figure of 8. It may make a great, enormous circle, and then it becomes an abstraction. And it can honestly go anywhere it needs to. Folding through child, rolling up and out, wherever you need to go. Eyes are closed and you're listening, giving yourself the permission to move. That nothing is planned, nothing is required. Sometimes we get so scripted, we can't figure out what to do with ourselves when we have a moment of freedom. And I swear, this practice, this little 3 minutes is helping me. Yes, time off is essential, even 3 minutes to do anything. And I don't do the dishes, and I don't fold the laundry, and I don't send the email. Cat cow. And after those moments of freedom, we come back. And child's pose feels so different. And now when we do the dishes, now when we do the work, it's coming from a different place, deeper in the body, not out of the tasks of the mind, but it's full of the freedom of who we are. Rising up, walk your knees to your wrists, cross your ankles, roll to your back. As you lie back, lift your hips, put your palms under your seat, draw your knees in so that your low back has a little support and rolls to the floor. Right leg to press out, left knee draws back, and then you change. And then you change, and then you change. Each one. Excellent. Press, press, press. To modify, you press your heels higher than your knees. If you have a little click, it can be because your knees are wide. I want you to bring your knees closer to the center line. Monk, we try that and tell me if that works out. So turning your toes in slightly, your heels out slightly, as though pressing your feet to a point between your hips, and then let it get a little lower. And that little internal rotation is really helpful if you have a click in your hip. And then go. Press, 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 press. Inhale and exhale, and inhale and exhale. Inhale, exhale. Good one. 10, 8, 7, 5, 3, 2, and 1. Feet flat. Free your hands, hands on thighs. Press away. Open the abdomen. All that light, all that heat you just made, let it through you. And then walking the legs out. Any tension in your back, in your low back, as you straighten your legs, you're welcome to keep your knees bent, feet flat. Or firm the legs, press into the heels. Hands up high, palms almost to touch. Inhale, open wide. Exhale together. To open, to close. Closing your eyes. Steady movement in the arms. Firm your legs to firm your navel. So we're creating this great stability in the low body. And the more stable the low body, the more freedom.